At 7:59 a.m., American Airlines Flight 11 took off from Logan International Airport in Boston. 15 minutes into the flight, 5 hijackers armed with box cutters took over the plane, injuring at least 3 people.
Before forcing their way into the cockpit,
The terrorists also displayed an apparent sprayed mace into the cabin to frighten the hostages into submission and further hinder resistance. Back at Logan, United Airlines Flight 75 took off at 8:14 a.m. Hundreds of miles southwest at Dulles International Airport, American Airlines. Flight 77 left the runway at 8:20 a.m. Flight 75's journey proceeded normally for 28 minutes until 8:40.